this is very interesting, because when you hear stories of people like you, many people get caught up in some sense in the political movement and spend their whole life really in the political movement. But I'm intrigued by the fact that even given all of that, one of the really interesting things about you is that you gravitated very strongly to the academic and theoretical engagements of the time. So from just to for our viewers, one of the things that you've told me in the past was that a person you mentioned a moment ago, someone politically your polar opposite, Gary Becker, was important to you in some ways. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, it's interesting, the relation of theory and practice in my mind. I, as a child, as soon as people left the room, I would take something apart to see how it worked. And then sometimes I would have some parts left over, but by and large, I could figure out how to take things apart and put them together. So I was always interested, you might say, in the inner workings of things. And I was always interested in science. I had an uncle who was an aeronautical engineer, and his influence was also very great. I ended up studying aeronautical engineering at Princeton. And you learn there that something as practical as flying has to have a strong theoretical basis. It's not something you can just push the buttons and hope the thing will take off, even more so with aerospace engineering. And so it seemed natural to me that in order to understand the world, you have to have a solid foundation. You cannot make it up as you go along. And that is why I, in some sense, shied away from what many of my contemporaries did, which is to work on critiques of of orthodox economics. I was obviously very critical of it, but it seemed to me that a critique is different than a complaint. A complaint is attached to the object that you're complaining about, whereas a critique means that you have to stand somewhere else. And so I began the long and arduous journey of trying to see where there was a place to stand. And that led me early on to the Cambridge Capital controversy, to Jeff Harcourt's work, which was a huge influence on me, Luigi Passanetti's work, because he came to teach at Columbia, and Joan Robinson, because of her fame and also because of her remarkable ability to reach out to younger people and persuade us that the world was changeable, but you needed theory.